So we're here for day 2 of testing in Formula 1 for the 2024 season. Yesterday we saw Max Verstappen put his Red Bull 1.1 seconds ahead of the next fastest car, which was Lando Norris. Is Sergio Perez or Max Verstappen going to be able to match that today? Shall we take a look at how the first session went, who is winning and losing so far, and let's also take a look at the driver schedule for the day. I'm going to put that on screen now. And now we'll get into looking at the times and laps and who seems to be doing all right on this Thursday morning. Obviously, F1 testing has now begun, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing daily reviews at the same time every single day, so make sure you stick around for that. Make sure you hit that red button down below. So here is the times and laps for the first session. It was stopped about an hour early after an hour of red flag period. There was a drain that had popped up and caused damage to Charles Leclerc's Ferrari. Now, Charles Leclerc will be happy with his session this morning. Finds himself top of the timing boards by 0.5 with a 1:31.75 with 36 laps on the board. Oscar Piastri, 0.5 behind with 35 laps on the board. Logan Sargent, 30 laps on the board, 0.8 behind Charles Leclerc. Sergio Perez didn't quite find the sweet spot that Max found, 1.1 seconds behind the Ferrari right now, and he only completed 20 laps. Fernando Alonso completed 31 laps, 1.3 seconds behind the Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton, 1.4 seconds behind the Ferrari, completing only 39 laps. Now, I've not really got a great idea of where Mercedes are going to be. I don't think anybody really does at the moment. They don't seem to be really pushing. Guan Yu Zhou found himself nearly 2 seconds behind after 38 laps. Pierre Gasly, 2 seconds behind, 33 laps. Nico Hülkenberg, 5.7 seconds behind, 31 laps. And Yuki Tsunoda, 6.3 seconds behind, 40 laps. Now, it's easy to get in and look at the times and think Yuki Tsunoda's struggling or Nico Hülkenberg struggling, but in actuality, we don't really know. A lot of these teams have been doing long runs this morning. Even Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes has been seemingly on quite high fuel. So with that in mind, I don't really think you can take a great detail into the times or how teams are getting on so far, but we'll look into it after the afternoon session. I believe that now starts an hour earlier, but I'll have to confirm that so that they still get in their testing period. For me, I think it's disgusting that these drivers, yes, they are the best in the world, but they get max 1.5 days, depending on how the team splits the sessions, to prepare themselves for the season. Obviously, they can do all the fitness work off track and things like that, but they obviously, in my opinion, I think there needs to be more testing for an upcoming season, especially for teams to fully understand their car. I don't think we'd have had the bouncing issue if we'd have had more testing. And it's things like that that I think could be ironed out early on in a season, before the season even starts. Now, I know that breaks the whole skeptical of things going wrong on race weekends, but that will happen anyway. Even if the cars are 100% perfect, driver error, human error for strategy will happen. So that's something which I think needs to be looked at by Formula One. You let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But obviously, this morning session has been cut short. The drain has caused a red flag. It was a red flag for about an hour before they called time on the session. So let's see what can happen in that second session. And let's see if the Mercedes can put up a better lap of Lewis Hamilton, because he's in all day and he is about 80 laps behind George for an entire day. George did 1:22. Lewis has so far done 40. So let me know down in the comments how you think testing's going so far. Who do you think is going to be at the top of the leaderboard come qualifying next weekend? And I'll catch you after the afternoon session. The afternoon session has just come to a close with some safety car, virtual safety car and red flag testing. It was really exciting to see the rolling start test thing that they did. I thought it looked really cool, seeing all the cars that go down into the first corner. Probably the closest they'll be all season. Now, shall we take a look at the testing times for this afternoon and some things which changed as a result of the damage this morning. Max Verstappen did not get into the Red Bull as was expected this morning, and Sergio Perez took the full day. Lewis Hamilton took the full day at Mercedes as expected. They will switch over tomorrow. Let's now take a look at the testing times and see how the teams got on. So you can see at the top of the grid, Carlos Sainz was one of the only drivers to put on that soft set of tyres. He did a 129.9 and he completed 84 laps. His lap on that soft tyre was incredible, but I believe there is about a 4/10 difference between the soft and the medium. And then obviously we don't know anything about fuel loads. Sergio Perez completed the full day. There was a little bit of reliability trouble in the afternoon session, but nothing that stopped them completing 129 laps, mainly on that medium tyre. He found himself 7/10 down on Carlos Sainz on the soft. Lewis Hamilton completed a couple more laps than George Russell today. He was 1.1 seconds down on the Ferrari, but that Mercedes car looks 10 times better than it did at this point last season. You let me know what you think about that Mercedes so far. I think it looks a million times better than it did last year. Lando Norris only completed 52 laps in the afternoon session, I believe he was in, and he was 1.3 seconds down. Now, the McLaren don't really seem to be getting lots of mileage on the board. They seem to be having a few little issues which are obviously causing a few problems, but we'll see what happens with them heading into the first race. Obviously, so far, I believe that they've done more laps than they did last season, which was the important thing. Daniel Ricciardo in the RB, 1.4 seconds down on that medium tyre. He completed 88 laps in this afternoon session. Charles Leclerc got 54 laps under his belt, 1.8 seconds behind his teammate Carlos Sainz, but he was obviously on the medium. Lance Stroll did 96 laps today, 2.1 seconds down on the best time of the session. Esteban Ocon 2.1 down, 78 laps for him. Valtteri Bottas got 97 laps in today, 2.3 seconds down with the fastest time. Oscar Piastri only 35 laps, so that means that today McLaren have only done 87 laps in total. Very disappointing for them. They'll have been hoping to do a lot more. Just scroll down now to look at the rest of the grid, and you can see Logan Sargent did the full day as well. I believe Alex Albon was supposed to get in this afternoon, but they changed it due to the schedule changing. But he got 117 laps under his belt. Fernando Alonso did 31 laps. I believe that was this morning. He was 3.1 seconds down. Guan Yu Zhou got 38, nearly 4 seconds down. Gasly 33. Kevin Magnussen 93, Nico Hülkenberg 31, and Yuki Tsunoda got 40 laps in. Now, I think the biggest takeaway from this afternoon and today's testing is that the Mercedes does look quite good. It looks like they can get it into a working window, and the rear looks a lot more stable than it did last year. The Ferrari looks quite competitive, but we'll have to wait to see how all the other cars perform in low fuel and on the soft tyre. I doubt we'll see many soft runs in total, really. Mercedes, I believe, only have 2 soft tyres. I believe they'll do 1 run for each driver, obviously at different times. It'll be important to see tomorrow which teams do go for those short runs. And obviously, I believe the tyre that Sainz used today, the soft, isn't going to be the soft for the race weekend, so that's something to bear in mind when looking at the times and things like that. Now, obviously, times aren't very respective of a race or qualifying or anything like that, because we don't know fuel loads, we don't know what the teams are running through with their plans. Obviously, we saw yesterday with George Russell and today with Mercedes, with Lewis Hamilton, that they were focusing more on long runs and making sure that their car is in the right working window, understanding how the tyres work. I think most teams are expecting Red Bull to be out up front, so I believe they're just trying to get the best possible race car rather than qualifying car, if that makes sense. I believe that's the best opportunity for other teams to win races. Now, let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this day 2. Let me know who you think is going to win the championship. Obviously, I think a lot of people think Max Verstappen, but can someone surprise us? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll catch you in the video tomorrow reviewing day 3 of testing. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.